Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Today, I'm asking you to re-engineer your 2020 business plan with a recent webinar I shared with a bunch of our top clients on how they can maximize their profits, savings, and pay off all of their debts. Enjoy the show. Hey, welcome everybody. Coach Tom Ferry in the house. Thank you so much for joining me. It's also one of my favorite times of the year because quite honestly, I'm not like a New Year's resolution guy. I don't really go there for some reason, but what I love to do is set new intentions for the year. There's just something magical about like looking at what happened in 2019, the good, the bad, the ugly, the highs, the lows, and everything else, and really dissecting, really being honest about, how many days did I actually prospect? How many open houses did I actually do? Where did my business really come from? And what did I really do to make that happen? I don't know about you, but this is also kind of part of the time of the year that I flip-flop somewhere between an enormous amount of gratitude for my relationship, for my health, for my team, for you, right? For sort of just all the amazing things in my life. And I also get really upset and pissed off because I realized I just left a lot on the table, right? There's just too many days that I reflect back that I just didn't go all in, that I didn't really push myself, that I bought into some of my excuses, or I bought into some of the stories that stopped me from performing at my best. And I'm sure as I'm saying this, I know you can relate, right? And then I say, like, what are my intentions for next year? Like, how am I going to get a little bit better in all the areas that matter most to me, right? As a coach, as a husband, as a father, physically, financially, spiritually. I look at all those areas and then I set my intentions. Because you know what I know? As much as the sun's going to go up and the sun's going to go down, it doesn't really matter what happened in 2019. If I can get more certain about what it is that I want in 2020, if I can design a better plan and I can create the structure and accountability to execute at the level that I need to, and I really push hard, you know what? I can make 2020 as much as I like to do. I've seen people literally go from selling 18 houses to 50 houses in 1 year. I had one of my personal clients go from 0 to 62 his first year in the business. If you can design the plan and follow through, anything is possible. That's what's beautiful. And one of my intentions from 2020 to 2030 is to help more clients become wealthy. Now, I use the word wealthy, and I'm referring to rich. I'm referring to money. Show me the money. Now, I know because I have spiritual wealth, and I've got health and vitality wealth, and I've got friends and love wealth. I'm talking about your business. Here's what I want. I want you to have zero debt, and I want you to have, ready? Financial security. That's what I want. So here's an important exercise, and you're going to see how critical this is, because if you truly want to make 2020 amazing, what would be more amazing than having financial security and being debt-free in 2020? Wouldn't that be great? Now you might say, should I pay off all my mortgages if I own investment properties? Probably not. But all the stupid debt, all the 19%, if you're 42 and you still have student loans, might be time to finally pay those off. As an example, I want you zero debt free except for mortgages. So there's six numbers that I want you to know. So please write this down because it's not inside the plan. So please write down these 6 numbers. Here's the exercise. Number 1, I want to know, how much outside income do you get on an annual basis? How much outside income do you receive on an annual basis? Now that could mean you have a spouse who has a job, right? So my spouse makes, $42,000 after taxes. So I'm going to write that in, $42,000 after taxes, right? So now I know I've got that number, right? If you have no spouse and you have no job, maybe you got a trust fund, maybe you got 6 rental properties. I don't know, but you know if you have outside income, right? Number 2, I want to know, what does it cost you on an annual basis to run your household, to run your home? So your mortgage, your rent, your car, your insurance, your food, your groceries, the cost to maintain your property, right? What does it cost you to run your house? Now that could also include vacations that you set aside every year, things you want to do. I'm sending my kids to college, right? All the expenditures you have that are on the personal side. And I want you to total it up. And what blows me away, because I've been doing this exercise a lot, because it's that time of the year for so many of my enterprise clients, is I'm blown away by the number of people that have no idea. And what I would challenge you on, my friend, is if you don't know what it costs you to run your household, look, I'm not dogging you. Take your checkbook, get your credit cards out, get your statements, and just go through 1 month. And then after you throw up in your mouth and realize how much money you're spending on all this stuff, I just want you to create that awareness. I want you to create the awareness so you know, and I'm making this up, that it costs you $6,200 a month to run your household, as an example, right? Then I want to know, number 3, what does it cost you to run your business? Now, I love when people say to me, especially maybe there's some new agents, like, oh, I love real estate because it's like, it doesn't cost you anything to get involved in this business. Those people are confused. E&O insurance, board dues, MLS dues, right? You got to have a website, you got to have business cards, you got to do marketing, you got to have a car, you got to have a cell phone. I mean, there's a lot of expenses associated before you even look at having an assistant, right? Adding more people to your team, right? Expanding into, better, more repeatable and scalable marketing approaches. But I'm getting ahead of myself. How much money did you spend on your business in 2019? I think it's really important you know that, right? And you should have what, we'd call a budget just for that, right? So what's your budget for 2019? How much money in your business did you spend, right? Makes sense? But then make a little asterisk next to this, because this is kind of like 3A. 3A is, I want you to start thinking now about the budget for 2020. So let's just say that your business cost you $30,000 in 2019, right? Just as a loose number. So if it cost me $30,000 and I'm already thinking that in 2020, I want to bring in a part-time videographer to start creating content that I can put out. All right, so that's going to cost me, and I'm making up a number, $2,000 a month, right? Well, that's $24,000 I just added to my budget. I'm now at 54. I also decided, because I've really figured out that, working my database more effectively, whether it is throwing events once a quarter or, sending them gifts, whatever you choose to do, I'm going to add that into my budget. If that's a new expenditure to grow in 2020, let's say that's another $500 a month. Well, all of a sudden now that's another $6,000. And now I'm almost at $60,000 in my budget. Now, there's nothing wrong about that. I know plenty of agents that their monthly cost to run their business is $50,000 or $60,000 a month. What's it cost me to run the business? Getting present to those numbers, which you're not going to do watching this right now. You're literally going to have to, open up the checkbook, look at your bills, right? Look at your statements and get present to it. If you're married, do this with your spouse, right? Very important exercise. Then I want to know, number 4, for 2020, what's your pre-tax savings goal? For 2020, what's your pre-tax savings goal? So by the way, between now and the end of the year, you should put away some money into your SEP, right? Or your IRA account, as an example, 2,000 here, 4,000 there, 10,000 there, whatever it is, because remember, that comes off the top before your taxes. So it's really good that we're budgeting for that pre-tax savings. We want to save as much as we can there and not pay any taxes on it. So in the future, right, we're better off financially. Then I want to know number 5. Number 5, and I hope I'm not going too fast here, but we got a lot of stuff to cover. Number 5 is, what's your debt reduction goal for 2020? What's your debt reduction goal? Remember, I want you to be wealthy. I want you to be rich, which means you can't have a bunch of stupid debt. I owe $60,000 on this line of credit, and I got, these 3 credit cards that I'm just making the minimum payments on, and I did a HELOC and I took some money out of my house. I want you to pay all that stuff off. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it in 2020, but it is your business and it is your goals. You can decide whatever you have that really drives you. If it drives you, if it motivates you to pay off your debts, you'll make the phone calls, right? You'll do the things that give you the power, right? That's what I'm looking for. Then I wrote down, you ready? What's your savings goal for 2020? So after your taxes, how much money do you want to save, right? And we haven't talked about taxes yet, but how much money do you want to save? And again, I don't know where you are in your life, but I know this. People sleep better at night when they've got 6 months reserves in their savings account. But that's just like savings. Do you want to make some investments? Do you want to buy an investment property? Do you want to max out your SEP? Like, how much money do you want to save next year, right? Are you just Are you running check to check and always in survival mode? Right? I don't want you to be like that. I want you to be wealthy. I want you to have no debt. I want you to have financial security, lots of money in the bank, so you can breathe, right? And really focus on your goals and not be in that rat race. So that's one of my big intentions. I hope it is for you too. Now, what I want you to do in your notes, write this down. You got to total up 2 through 6. You got to total up 2 through 6. So the cost for you to run your household all the way down to your savings goal, total that all up. Now, my advice, listen up. If you have outside income, if your spouse has a job, my advice is, what would you have to do? Or what would it be like if you were responsible for all the costs of the house, all the cost of your business, and your spouse's money went straight to savings, just straight to savings, and you never had to touch it? And maybe that becomes, the fun account, maybe it becomes the buy more investment properties account. Like, who would you have to be responsible at that level? How exciting would that be, right? If now all of a sudden the two of you are really contributing to taking your life financially to a whole new level. I would wish that on you. If you don't have a spouse, then guess what? You're like me, I have a spouse, right? But it's all on me. I got to go produce. I am the breadwinner. I got to go make the money. I think of Marty Gellens, all these amazing women that I know that's what they do. They are the breadwinner. They go make the money. They make it happen, and you can do it too. But I also wrote down, you ready? What I need to know above and beyond, if you choose to do that, is take that number 2 through 6 and total it up. And then let's be honest. If you live in the state of California or New York, you're probably at an average of 40% tax. So let's just say, for easy math, you needed 100 to cover all the costs and to pay off some debt and save some money. Let's just say that was your number. That means you got to make 140. And I would even argue you're probably safe to say make 150 so you have enough money set aside to make your quarterly tax payments. Does that make sense? I want you to be rigorous about debt reduction, saving, paying your taxes, and making sure that you are getting wealthy, paying off your debts, and being financially secure. So I know it's a lot there because I've given you 3 exercises before I even asked you to think about your plan. But I think you can see now like why I'm sharing this, because I know like you're going to set some intentions, but if your behaviors are over here and your intentions are over here, how else am I going to align your behaviors? I don't make my phone calls, but I want to pay off my debt. I want to save more money. I want to have those experiences. I want to have that life that I'm dreaming about in 10 years. Like, this is your intention, but if these are your behaviors always win. So I'm trying to figure out, right, with these 3 exercises, how can I get you to naturally align so you just start doing the work that's going to cause you to get what you want? Does that make sense? Right? We don't always like it. I don't always like getting up at 4:45 in the morning, but if I want to be healthy and stronger than my 2 boys at 18 and 20, I got to get my butt in the gym. Does that make sense? I've got to align those behaviors. That's the deal. By the way, on the financial side, please add one more thing. Please add one more thing. You ready? If you pay off all your debts, right? Remember that 2 through 6 number, right? Plus your taxes, and you get real honest about that. Then you think about, wait a minute, what's my commission split at my company? So I probably need to add a few more dollars to it, right? Got to add a few more dollars to, working at your brokerage and all that they do for you. And it is a lot, my friends. All you got to do is look around. It's a lot, right? So maybe now that 140 is actually 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. I don't know what your split is, right? But I got to factor that in. And then, please write this down. I want you to divide what your total gross commission income needs to be by your average sales price and average commission. So the first one is to look at what already works. The second thing, please write this down in your notes. One of the primary strategies for growth is the adding strategy. The adding strategy. So the question you want to ask yourself is kind of knowing me, like you, right? Knowing myself. What should I go after in 2020? Where should I put more concentration? I'm already going to get better at what already works. Now, what am I going to add? So I got a list for you. Ready? Here's 10 opportunities I think you should look at in 2020. Now, number 1, of course, is your database, right? Number 1, write it down. How can I get better at my database? How do I get to 10% conversion to people that know, like me, and trust me? And 1 to 2% of all those other people that are in my database. Number two, agent-to-agent referrals. What are you doing? Are you networking? Are you coming to Tom Ferry events? If you're one of my coaching members, that's a big part of what we do. In your brokerage, in your brand, have you gone to census.gov and looked at where are people moving from and to from your city, right? So you can relate and connect with more agents in those cities to find opportunities. Number three, we published at the summit 37 different referral sites that you can sign up for. Now, these are arbitrage plays where they're going to ask for a 25 or 30% referral fee, but there's 37, and I think you should be on every one of them. Number four is geographic farming, right? If you don't have a farm, you've chosen not to have an annuity of transactions every year. Every agent I know that farms with the basics of our plan, 2 mailers a month, hold open houses, run some social, ads on Facebook around there, they're going to get 7, 8, 10, 15 transactions from that farm of, 600, 700, 800 homes. Yes, it's going to cost you a little money on direct mail, but again, I want that annuity, right? Just like my database is so automatic, I want that same automatic. Then obviously number 5, open houses. Huge opportunity, especially in 2020. The millennials are showing us, they come out in droves to the open house. The difference is they walk in now and they're already looking at it to see, does the photo actually match up with the house? And you got to be more prepared than ever to talk with the 78 million new buyers coming in the marketplace that want to bring in their friends and their buddies and their parents to check out the house. You know the program. Number 6, Zillow, Realtor, Google as an example. So I'm going to spend money on advertising to generate opportunities. Number 7, I'm going to create content. I'm going to shoot videos, create content. I'm going to become the trusted brand in my marketplace. All right, back on the list. Number 8, if you have expired listings in your marketplace and you're a good human being, you should help those people. Number 9, same thing with for sale by owners, right? By the way, for new agents, I'm a huge fan of FSBOs and expireds, especially for new agents. Do you want to know why? Because when a new agent can convert a FSBO or an expired, what they've done is they've proven that they can articulate their value to a seller. Now, guess what happens when a new agent can articulate their value to a seller? Maybe someone that's a little more challenging, like a DIY FSBO, or someone that listed and it didn't work out and they were a little upset. When that person can articulate their value to them, they can do it to everybody. And that's why I want new people to do it. And then obviously number 10, not always as popular, but you got to look at it, is death, divorce, and defaults, the 3 Ds. So here's my point. There's no wrong way to generate clients, but what we know is if you want to grow your business, you got to do better at what already works. And then you want to add new sources of business, adding new sources of business with realistic expectations for how many transactions you can do. So that's all that next part of the plan. Now, by the way, again, if you need help, call my office, right? Or go to tomferry.com/2020, book a consultation. Let us help you with that. Hey, thanks so much for watching the show. Got more questions? Send me a text, 949-216-5466, 949-216-5466. Text me right now.